For you will be connected to the abundance that is in all. And you will be connected to the light of bountifulness that is in all creation. And you will recognize that if I am in quicksand, I better not struggle. I better anchor myself to what is a rock, what is a constant. And what is constant is the light of love in all of eternity. And as I stay in grace, and I say grace, for when you are in grace, it is no matter what happens, you're able to recognize this indelible cord. Because there is a law of measure for measure. And possibly many of you never heard of the law of measure for measure, so I will impart to you the law of measure for measure in a language in your present lexicon that you know it as. It's being taught as the law of attraction. And the law of attraction sounds very attractive. And you will notice that as soon as the world got on board with the law of attraction and there were best-selling books, you will notice something very strange happening to the Western economy. That everything that was floating along for such a long time suddenly imploded. What is it that they attracted? Well, when you learn the law of attraction is for you, and it is for your interest, and you are a vortex, and everyone is vortexing away. I teach it as the law of measure for measure because that's the way it was taught 6,000 years ago. And the law of measure for measure is not as attractive, but it is real. And it states very clearly that your vibration attracts like vibration. Your truth doesn't change. How you play your truth, the chords which you play your truth changes. You can play your song in a dramatic fashion, and you can play your song in grace. But what you broadcast out as a spark of the divinity of creation has the power to amplify that music and broadcast concordant streams back into your circle. And may surprise many that this law does not merely apply to this linear existence, but that the law of attraction that you know, you call it law of attraction, but that the law of measure for measure is at play in the afterlife. Oh yes, many belong to indoctrinated systems of belief that have taught them that you must earn all that you receive. And that if you fall short, you will go to a place of fire and brimstone and purgatory. And I'm here to tell you that there is a spark of you that is eternal. That comes from a space where there is no judgment. It comes from a space where the word competition does not exist. For you are all eternal variables. You're an eternal quotient. I want you to understand this in linear terms. 1 plus 1 is only 2. If you're not dealing with eternal variables, where your quotients aren't eternal. But if your quotients are eternal, 1 plus 1 is always 1. 1 minus 1 is always 1. What are you comparing? What is there that is a comparison? How can there be a competition? We're all eternal. We're all one. We are brought up in a society that has indoctrinated us with poison. And the reason why it brings us up and indoctrinates us in this poison is because we are asleep. And when we are asleep, we can be predictable. Because you are not a sovereign person. You are not a sovereign angel in flesh and blood. You are a predictable variable that can be leveraged. So, we create societies built on the principles of competition to leverage each other for needs. Because we do not trust each other to fulfill these roles if we were sovereign. But bountifulness is here. The light is here within all. And all that is needed is for individuals to awaken and recognize and contribute their song. Their song of truth. Because when you contribute your song, when you stand in the dignity of your song, through the reflection of your eyes, through the cadence of your heart, then imbalance does not occur. Because there are no polarities. You are sharing your very essence. You are sharing your greatest asset. And you share that asset because you do not believe that I will run out of my song of truth. You do not believe I will run out of myself. How can I share my love? How can I share my expression of what I am? Well, I may run out. I have to stockpile it. I have to build warehouses, copyright it. It's silly, it's absurd. But the world needs each person's truth. But nobody says, I will take my truth. I don't need to engage another. Because we are programmed for love. Because we are divine creatures. And to love, love is not giving. Love is not receiving. Love is a synthesis of all, of the expression. You cannot give love, you can share love. You can only give what you own. There is no dominion in love. And there can be no dominion in love. But love is the very vibration from which everything has coalesced from. And even after it goes into tiers of polarities and gets split into pieces, still in its essence is at its core a vibration that's eternal and is united and is in oneness. Individuals seek love in many different ways, but it is measure for measure according to their vibration. If they vibrate baser, then they objectify things and they see things as their superficial casing, their outside, and they wish to collect these because they feel it will satiate this eternal desire for connectivity. And they wish to buy this and own this. And they get frustrated because it's momentary. Because they have an eternal appetite. And they are trying to feed it with linear variables. With finite variables. And their appetite increases. And they chase further. And they get into habits of chasing. Of forgetting. Because they are afraid to be quiet within themselves. For when they are quiet within themselves, they feel this great emptiness, a void. Well, what was that void and emptiness gifted to you for? Or was it not the conduit through which you should allow the light of others to filter through? Because others will not pour their light We do not hoard our light and truth, because we recognize that to the degree we share it, it's always there. And so it has always been with the light of love. People do not run out of love, because love is all that is. And we tap into the river of love. We don't own it, but we share it. We are a conduit of the expression of the light, what is eternally divine, and we share it and resuscitate those around us through the reflection of our eyes, through the mirror of our eyes that reflect the divinity that you witness, the expression of your heart that exudes the passion of your beingness, your being as an expression of all, of your unique truth, of what is eternal, indelible, irreplaceable. And we grow up in societies that indoctrinate us and our children to excel through competition and comparison. And it is folly. And it is false. And it is not lasting. And it is dead and it is dying. For each is a signature of uniqueness that cannot be replicated. And there is no comparison. The whole notion of competition is a facade. It's a drama. Even the sports that people watch is a men's soap opera. There are no two teams that have the same individuals with the same amount of reps. And if they did, the result would be the same every time. It would be a tie. The whole notion of competition is a complete surrendering of your divine self. And what I want to impart is this key, because we are saturated in it. We are saturated in the resonance of pinning one of us against the other. We can only have bounty, we can only have achievement and success through a struggle, through a strain. And this is indoctrinated at a very young age. Well, I'm here to tell you that the light of love is the strongest power in all of existence. And the higher love is the source of every other power that is in existence. For a higher love is the sum of all the chords of existence, and every other chord and expression of energy and power is merely a subsidiary of a fractile of that light. And to the degree that you tap into that light, and you spread it unconditionally, is the degree to which bountifulness flows. It is the degree to which you reclaim what you are. Many of you have recognized various spiritual traditions, the term I am. People meditate it. What the I am, what is it? They say it's a vessel. It's a vessel for the light. When the light of eternity flows in, you need a perfected vessel of I am to contain that light. These are all analogies. But how could you have a vessel that contains something that's infinite? For a vessel that is containing cannot sustain a connectivity to an eternal flow. And so rather than thinking about it as a vessel that's a cup, I would like you to think of it as a vessel that's a pipe, a conduit, a worthy conduit. It is a pipe. It is a conduit through which we can tap into the light of all of existence. and direct it through your circle. And that conduit is called the I am.